Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. How many of you have dreams, ideas, or ambitions that you've been sitting on, waiting for the right time? You tell yourself, one day when everything falls into place, I will start. But here's the truth. There is no perfect time. We often believe that success comes when all the stars align, when we have more experience, more confidence, or when the situation is just right. But if we keep waiting, we may wait forever. The greatest opportunities are not found in some distant, ideal future. They are created right now in the messiness of today. Perfection is something many of us chase, believing that if we wait for the right conditions, the right skills, and the right moment, we will finally be ready to take action. The reality is that perfection is an illusion. It's a mirage that keeps shifting further away the closer we think we are to reaching it. The idea that everything has to be just right before we begin is one of the biggest barriers to success. The truth is, waiting for perfection is just another way of procrastinating, another way of giving in to fear, and another way of holding ourselves back from achieving what we are truly capable of. We see this all the time in different aspects of life. People want to start a business but keep waiting until they have the perfect business plan, the perfect investment, or the perfect market conditions. Aspiring writers never publish their work because they think it's not polished enough. Talented individuals don't apply for opportunities because they feel they need just a little more experience, a little more confidence, or a little more validation before they take that step. But if we really look around us, we will see that the most successful people didn't wait for perfection. They started before they were ready. They learned, adapted, and grew along the way. Think about the most groundbreaking innovations, the most inspiring leaders, and the biggest success stories. They weren't created in perfectly controlled conditions. They emerged from chaos, uncertainty, and moments of self-doubt. If people like Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, or Elon Musk had waited for the perfect time, they would still be waiting. Instead, they embraced imperfection and took action despite not having all the answers. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who never start. The willingness to act even when everything isn't perfect. One of the biggest misconceptions we have is that perfection equals success. In reality, progress is what leads to success. Perfection is often just an excuse to avoid failure, but failure is necessary for growth. No one gets everything right the first time. The best musicians, the most accomplished athletes, the most brilliant scientists, they all started somewhere. They made mistakes, they failed, but instead of seeing imperfection as a reason to stop, they saw it as a reason to improve. The pursuit of perfection can also be incredibly limiting. It keeps us from experimenting, from trying new things, from taking risks. When we focus too much on making something perfect, we often miss out on opportunities to learn and innovate. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history happen by accident, because someone was willing to try before everything was perfectly in place. If we wait until we feel completely ready, we might never take that first step, and that means we might never discover our true potential. We also have to recognize that what we consider perfect is constantly changing. Our standards evolve as we grow, meaning that something we once thought was our best work might seem average a year later. If we keep waiting for perfection, we'll keep moving the goalposts further and further, never allowing ourselves to move forward. Instead of aiming for perfection, we should focus on progress. Small steps taken consistently will always be more powerful than waiting for the one perfect move. When we accept that perfection is an illusion, we free ourselves from the pressure of needing everything to be flawless. We allow ourselves to take risks, to grow, and to become better with each step we take. The people who succeed are not the ones who waited for perfection. They are the ones who started despite their doubts, embraced the process, and learned along the way. Imperfection is often seen as a flaw, something to be corrected or hidden, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful tools for growth and success. When we embrace imperfection, we allow ourselves the freedom to learn, evolve, and take action without the fear of failure holding us back. The need for everything to be flawless before we start something new is one of the biggest obstacles that prevent people from reaching their full potential. Instead of fearing imperfection, we should see it as an essential part of the journey, something that fuels progress rather than stopping it. One of the greatest lessons life teaches us is that nothing and no one is perfect. No artist has ever created a masterpiece without first making mistakes. No entrepreneur has built a successful company without facing setbacks. No athlete has won championships without losing along the way. The people who achieve great things are not those who waited until they were perfect, but those who moved forward despite their imperfections. Every mistake, every flaw, and every failed attempt holds valuable lessons that bring us closer to excellence. The idea of perfection can be paralyzing. When we set unrealistic expectations for ourselves, we become afraid to take risks. We hesitate to start new projects, fearing that we won't be good enough. We put off chasing our dreams because we believe we need more time, more skills, or more experience before we are truly ready. But readiness is not something that suddenly appears. It is something we build by taking action, learning from our mistakes, and improving over time. When we accept that imperfection is a natural part of the process, we free ourselves from the fear of failure and open the door to progress. Some of the most successful people in the world are not those who got everything right the first time, but those who kept going even when things didn't go as planned. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a stepping stone toward it. Every setback teaches us something new, every flaw gives us an opportunity to grow, and every imperfection makes us more adaptable and resilient. Those who try to avoid imperfection at all costs often find themselves stuck, unable to move forward because they are too afraid of making a mistake. But those who embrace it find new ways to push beyond their limits and achieve things they once thought impossible. Perfectionism is also one of the biggest barriers to creativity. When we expect everything we create to be flawless, we become overly critical of ourselves. We compare our first attempts to someone else's finished masterpiece and feel discouraged. But what we often forget is that every expert was once a beginner. Every best-selling author once wrote a rough draft. Every musician once played out of tune. Every innovator once had an idea that didn't work. The only way to truly improve is to keep going, to keep creating, and to keep refining what we do without being held back by the unrealistic expectation of perfection. Imperfection also makes us human. It connects us to others and allows us to be more authentic. When we try to present ourselves as flawless, we create unrealistic standards that make it harder to relate to others. But when we acknowledge our imperfections, we show that it's okay to struggle, to fail, and to learn. This not only makes us more approachable, but also inspires those around us to take action without fear. The more we accept and embrace our imperfections, the more we create an environment where people feel safe to grow and push themselves beyond their perceived limitations. The truth is, the most incredible things in life are born from imperfection. Some of the greatest innovations, ideas, and achievements came from moments of uncertainty, mistakes, and unexpected turns. When we stop striving for an unattainable standard of flawlessness, we allow ourselves to take action, to experiment, and to discover new possibilities. Instead of seeing imperfection as something to fix, we should recognize it as something that gives us the freedom to improve, evolve, and ultimately succeed in ways we never imagined. Opportunities are not patient. They don't wait for the perfect timing, the perfect circumstances, or for us to feel completely ready. They appear, often unexpectedly, and those who recognize them and take action are the ones who move forward. Many people spend their lives waiting for the right conditions to pursue their dreams, believing that someday everything will align perfectly. But the truth is, that moment may never come. The people who succeed are not those who wait for opportunities, but those who seize them, even when they feel unprepared. Life moves fast, and the world doesn't stop for anyone. If we hesitate too long, the opportunities meant for us might pass us by and land in the hands of those who are brave enough to take them. How many times have we looked back and regretted not taking a chance? How often do we tell ourselves, if only I had started earlier, or I wish I had taken that chance? The longer we wait, the harder it becomes to take action, and the more we let hesitation and self-doubt take over. Opportunities often come disguised as challenges, risks, or even failures. They don't always look obvious, and they rarely come with a guarantee of success. That's why so many people overlook them. They wait for something easier, something safer, something more predictable. But those who achieve great things understand that taking a risk is part of the process. They recognize that opportunities come with uncertainty, but they also come with the possibility of growth, success, and transformation. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that they need to be fully prepared before they take on an opportunity. They think they need to have all the skills, all the knowledge, and all the confidence before they start. But the truth is, no one is ever 100% ready. Growth happens in the process. The most successful people step into opportunities before they feel completely prepared, knowing that they will learn, adapt, and improve along the way. Waiting until we feel fully ready is just another way of procrastinating. We have all seen moments when an opportunity was right in front of us, but fear held us back. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. But fear is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that we are stepping outside our comfort zones, and that is where real growth happens. Every successful person has faced fear, but they did not let it stop them. Instead, they used it as motivation to move forward. They understood that the greatest risks often lead to the greatest rewards. Opportunities are also not always convenient. They don't always come when we expect them, and they rarely show up when everything in our lives is perfectly aligned. If we wait for the stars to align before we act, we may find that we have spent years standing still. Some of the best moments in life come when we least expect them, and if we are too focused on waiting for the perfect time, we might miss them entirely. History is filled with stories of people who took chances despite uncertainty. The world's most successful entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders did not wait until everything was perfect. They saw an opportunity, they took a risk, and they figured things out along the way. Every great invention, every powerful movement, every incredible achievement happened because someone chose to take action instead of waiting for a better moment. The reality is, life rewards those who take action. Doors open for those who knock, not for those who stand outside waiting for someone else to open them. If we want to achieve something great, we cannot afford to wait for the perfect circumstances. We have to act, even when it's uncomfortable, even when we feel uncertain, even when we don't have all the answers, because opportunities don't wait, and neither should we. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that hold people back from achieving their true potential. It disguises itself in different forms: fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, and even fear of success. It creates doubts, whispers insecurities, and convinces us that we are not ready or not good enough. Fear is the biggest obstacle because it stops us from even trying. It keeps us trapped in our comfort zones, preventing us from stepping into the unknown where growth and success actually happen. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that fear is a sign to stop. They think that if they feel afraid, it must mean they are not ready or that they shouldn't take the risk. But the truth is, fear is not an indication to stop. It is proof that we are about to do something important. Every major breakthrough, every life-changing decision, and every great success comes with a moment of fear. The people who succeed are not the ones who are fearless. They are the ones who act despite their fear. Fear magnifies problems, making challenges appear bigger than they really are. It tricks us into believing that the worst possible outcome is inevitable. But most of the time, the things we fear never even happen. We waste valuable time worrying about failures that may never occur, while missing out on opportunities that could change our lives. The reality is, failure is not the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing is never trying at all. Every successful person has faced failure at some point, but they did not let it stop them. Instead, they used it as a lesson and a stepping stone to move forward. Fear also thrives on perfectionism. Many people hesitate to take action because they are afraid they won't do it perfectly. They delay starting a new project, pursuing a dream, or taking on a new challenge because they feel they need more preparation. But waiting for perfection is just another way of giving in to fear. There is no perfect time, and there is no perfect way to begin. The only way to overcome fear is to take action, even if it's imperfect. Every step forward, no matter how small, weakens fear's grip and builds confidence. Another way fear limits us is by making us overly concerned with what others think. The fear of judgment can be paralyzing. We worry about being criticized, looking foolish, or not meeting others' expectations. But the truth is, no matter what we do, there will always be people who judge us. The most successful people in the world have critics, but they do not let that stop them. They understand that they cannot control how others perceive them, but they can control how they respond. They choose to focus on their goals rather than on the opinions of others. Fear also feeds on comfort. It convinces us that where we are is safe and that stepping into the unknown is dangerous. But growth never happens in comfort. Every great achievement requires taking a risk, embracing uncertainty, and pushing beyond limitations. The most successful people in any field are the ones who challenge their fears, took risks, and refused to settle for less than they were capable of. They did not let fear define their future, they defined it for themselves. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move forward despite it. Every time we push past fear, we become stronger, more resilient, and more capable. Fear will always exist, but it does not have to control us. When we recognize fear for what it is, an obstacle, not a stop sign, we gain the power to break free from its limitations and step into our full potential. Success is not a result of hesitation or playing it safe. It comes from taking bold moves, making courageous decisions, and stepping outside of comfort zones. Every great achievement in history has been the result of someone daring to do what others were too afraid to attempt. Bold moves create momentum, open new doors, and push us beyond the limits we once believed were impossible. The people who achieve extraordinary success are not the ones who wait for the perfect opportunity, but the ones who create their own opportunities by taking action, even when the odds seem against them. Playing it safe may feel comfortable, but it rarely leads to greatness. Those who fear taking risks often find themselves stuck in the same place for years, watching others move ahead while they wait for the right moment. But success does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who act. Every entrepreneur who built a billion-dollar company, every artist who changed the world with their work, and every leader who left a lasting impact did so by making bold choices. They were willing to take chances, even when there were no guarantees. They understood that growth happens when we push beyond our fears and embrace the unknown. Bold moves often involve uncertainty. They require stepping into situations where the outcome is unclear. This is why many people hesitate, fearing failure or embarrassment. But the truth is, every great success story includes failures along the way. The most successful people are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who failed and kept going. They saw failure not as a stop sign, but as a lesson, a necessary step in the journey towards success. They took risks, learned from their mistakes, and adjusted their approach until they reached their goals. When we look at the most influential figures in history, we see a pattern. Bold decisions that defied expectations. The greatest inventors, business leaders, and change makers were all willing to do what others thought was impossible. They didn't wait for approval or permission. They didn't let fear hold them back. Instead, they believed in their vision and took action even when the world doubted them. Steve Jobs took the risk of revolutionizing technology. Oprah Winfrey stepped into a male-dominated industry and redefined media. Elon Musk bet everything on ideas that others dismissed as unrealistic. These people did not achieve success by staying within the limits of what was safe or easy. They did it by making bold moves. Confidence is built through action. Many people believe they need to feel confident before they take a big step, but in reality, confidence comes from doing. The more we challenge ourselves, the more we grow. Every bold move we make strengthens our belief in ourselves, making it easier to take the next step. Success is not about having all the answers or eliminating fear. It is about taking action despite uncertainty. The more we step forward boldly, the more we develop the resilience and skills needed to navigate challenges. Bold moves also create opportunities that would never exist otherwise. Many people wait for an opportunity to come their way, but the most successful individuals understand that opportunities are created, not given. By taking action, we position ourselves for success. We attract the right people, gain valuable experience, and open doors that would have remained closed if we had waited for the perfect moment. Taking bold steps sets a chain reaction in motion, leading to new possibilities, unexpected breakthroughs, and achievements we never imagined were possible. At every stage of life, we face choices, whether to stay where we are or to take a leap into something greater. Those who succeed are the ones who choose to leap. They understand that bold moves are the key to transformation. They are willing to risk failure because they know that playing it safe guarantees mediocrity. They take action when others hesitate. They bet on themselves, even when the outcome is uncertain. And in doing so, they create the kind of success that only comes to those who dare to go beyond the ordinary.